Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Matasya Sishyam Sri Shankaracharya Matasya Padma Padam cha Hastamalakam cha Shishyam Tam Todakam Vartikakara Manyan Asmat Gurun Santatamanatosmi Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padambu Janmani Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grasaika Karmani. In this chapter, having started with the example of a chitra, a picture, and establishing the nature of Ishvaraha, Jiva, he moved on to give the example of space, pot space, outer space, and also space in the water inside the pot, and space in the mega or in the clouds reflected by the water particles there. And the outer space, unlimited, is Brahman. The space inside the pot representing the Kutastha. Jala Akasha representing Jiva. And the Mega Akasha representing Ishvaraha. Now the question is, we have completed up to, I think, verse number 23. Okay, 23. We'll read that again. Kutaste kalpita buddhihi Tatra chit pratibhimbakah Prananam dharanat jivah Samsarena sa uchyate Kutaste kalpita buddhihi Tatra chit pratibhimbakah Prananam dharana jivah samsarena sa uchyate. Question is, kaha samsari? Kaun hai samsari? Samsari na jadaha, jadaha na samsari kadachit bhavati. A jada vastu, an inert object, cannot be a samsari transmigrating person or being, subject to sukham, dukkam, joys and sorrows, cannot be a jada vastu. If you say chetanam, chaitanya eva samsari, then Ishvara becomes samsari. Ishvara becomes samsari means what then? What is the point in if Ishvara also becomes samsari? Because we do it. We get him married also. All sort of things we do. We just don't understand what a great sorrow he would be going through. He is also married. He is also given all that. Right? Sita Kalyan. Radha Krishna Kalyan. Shiva Parvati Kalyan. See, Brahmana means Manushyaha Utsava Priyaha. People are interested in celebrations, festivities. So we will bring Bhagavan to our level. Instead of we uplifting ourselves to his level. Usko bhi pakdo, bring it down. Because then it creates a, it's an activity, it's a religious activity, it is a entertainment, all that. Nice. At least they are not doing any mistake. At least thinking about God is good. But in Vedanta, Ishvaraha kadachit samsari bhavati. So Chaitanya cannot be samsari. So Jadava achetanaha va, Jada na samsari, Chetanam chet Ishvaraha samsari va, na tasma jiva eva samsari. So if you say Jada na samsari, Chetanam by itself is not samsari. Here also it is said what? Samsarena sa ujjate, right? Kaha, who is this jiva here? Kutaste kalpita buddhihi tatra chit pradibimbakaha. The chit pradibimbakaha, the reflected consciousness. Reflected consciousness is what is considered to be the jiva here. Pradibimbida chaitanyam eva samsari jiva. Pradibimbida jiva chaitanya. That which is reflecting. Aham kutastaha yadyapi aham jivahi iti manyade tadeva mohaha. I am actually a kutastha only, but I am considering myself to be a pradibimba, merely a reflection. So the samsari is a combination of jada and chaitanya. Really Chaitanya, but thinking himself to be jada. Really consciousness thinking himself to be the body or mind or the intellect or the association or the relationship, nama, rupa, guna, kriya, karma, karma phala, punarjanma, dukkam, sukham. All these things are mistaken to be me, mistaken identity, in other words. So therefore, prananam dharanat jivaha samsarena ya ujjate. He gets caught up in the transmigration of or the changes of jada or the objects which are subject to constant change, and one considers himself to be only that. That is what is considered as the samsari jiva. Now you see, in the next verse, answer Edi, Nanu jiva atiriktaha kutastha hasti chet If other than the jiva atiriktaha kutastaha asti chet, kimidi na pradibhasate. Why it is not we are aware of? Iti ashankya. Due to this doubt, jivena tirohitatvat iti sadrishtantam aha. The drishtanta, the illustration here now going to point out how the kutastha is conveniently forgotten. That is the reason why one mistakes oneself to be the mere pratibimba. Now you see in the next verse, Jalavyom na gatakashah yata sarvastirohitah tata jivena kutastah sonnyonyadhyasa uchyate. Jalavyom nagadakashah yata sarvastirohitah tata jivena kutastah sonnyonyadhyasa uchyate. Here, the verse number 24, Sarvaha Gatakashah. Anvaya is Sarvaha Gatakashah Jalavyomna Tirohitaha. Gata Akashaha Sarvaha. The entire space. Understand that. So, in this gutter, very big indeed. Why the rope is here? The entire part, space and entire part, I think this will be the best pose. Explain Vedanta. All the Vedanta masters will carry the pose with the point. Sarvaha Gatakashaha. Now, when you pour water into this, what happens to it? The water is filled here. In the water, you will see the reflection of space. Right? When you are seeing the space reflected in the water, you forget the pot space. Think. The space reflected in the water obscures the space of the pot. Jalavyomna tirohitaha. Jala akashena tirohitaha bhavati. What? Gata akashaha, the pot space, sarva, completely. Jalavyomna tirohitaha bhavati. Yata. Tata. In the same way, jivena, by the jiva, kutastaha, tirohitaha bhavati. Kutastaha jivena tirohitaha bhavati. The reflected consciousness obscures pure consciousness. Just like the space that is there reflected in the water obscures the part space. Meaning your attention is moved away from the part space to water space. The pratibimba obscures pure consciousness. Therefore, why it is so? Now, the important point here is Kata Akasha is the part space. Jala Akasha is the reflection of the space in the water. Now, one may ask this question, Akashaha Sukshmatvat Katam Pradibhasyate. Katam Pradibhasyate. See, if an object is there, that gets reflected there. If I'm standing in front of the mirror, from the mirror, I can see my form. Now the behind, there is a screen in which I have actually projected some, garden or whatever is there. Now when I stand in the front of the mirror, in this picture we can see, let us say this is a mirror and you are watching this. So I'm standing in the mirror, so you see me, but you see this also. I'm talking to them, because they can see this clearly. But apparently it looks flat. See, this part, this is the part of this background. And when I touch here, you see from the mirror only, you cannot see because you can see the depth now. But these people cannot see the depth. They're seeing the flat screen, right? In the flat screen, I am there, but when I move the hand like this, would you see any difference? No. As though I'm touching that background, whatever is there. And when I move that, I am touching myself. But actually, what is there? Space. Space is there. This space is forgotten. But space also gets reflected in the water actually. Not only the object, space also gets reflected. When I move away, you can see from the mirror, when I move away, to that extent, the space also is getting reflected there. As much the depth that the distance between the mirror and me is the space that is reflected there in the mirror. It's not flat, right? Though we see it only flat, but we know it as the depth because the space is there, which is also getting reflected. So one cannot say that how can space get reflected in the water? No, it gets reflected, not only objects. So this is only to make sure that one must not misunderstand this illustration. Now, because of the objects that are presented in front of the mirror, we come to not see the space also that is reflected there. In the same way, when the water reflects the space, we forget even the water that is present is because of the part space in which the reflection of the space takes place. And the reflection of the space in the water and the part space are two different things, apparently. But it is like when you are watching a movie in a screen, the picture is seen, but the canvas on which, or the screen on which the picture is projected, what is the distance? 0. The 0 is the distance between the picture and the canvas. 0 is the distance between the projected movie or the film and the screen. But when we are so engrossed in that movie, we forget what? Completely we forget the screen on which it is all projected. So here it is therefore to be understood. The kutastha is yat tri shariranam adharam. Sukshma sthula karana shariranam adharah kutastha. Yata sarpa rajjum tirohati tata trisharira abhimanam. Aham idi abhimana. In that identification with the three bodies, tasya adharam tirohati tad abhiman. That identification with the three bodies make us completely forget, or it obscures. That is the reason why Bhagavan says, Jnanam ajnanena tirohitah bhavati. Avranam tena ajnanena avrutam jnanam. Avrutam means what there? Forgetfulness of its presence. Part space is forgotten in the awareness of the Jala Akash. That's what's the idea here. Jala Akash, so Jala Vyomna Gatakashah Yata Sarva Tirohitah Tata Jivena Kutastah Tata Pradibimbita. That is Chaitanya Pradibimba. Pradibamba here means Chidakash. Chidakashena Kutastah. And what is the reason for this? Because there is Anyonya Adhyasa. That is the key point here. Anyonya Adhyasa. Anyasya Anya Adhyasa. Anye Anyasya Gunaha Adhyaropitatvat Adhyasitatvat. Adhyasitatvat meaning what? Adi Asa means superimposed. So one's quality is superimposed on others, and others' quality is superimposed on this. Jadatva of the shariras are superimposed on the Chaitanya, and Chaitanya's Chaitanatvam is superimposed on the Jada. Jada Chaitanya Anyonya Adhyas. Anyonya Adhyasaha eva Ajnanam. The point here is this Anyonya Adhyasa eva Ajnanam. Ajnanam is not knowing Brahman. Ajnana, that is Ajnanam is in the form of I don't know who Brahman is or what Brahman is. That can be overcome by study. Study of any subject will introduce to the subject matter, all right. But Adhyasa kahan se jayega? Kahan nashya hoga? Kaise nashya hoga? That aviveka continues. That absence of discrimination continues in spite of knowing the nature of Brahman. But nature of Brahman and exclusively in the absence of the projection of gunas of the Jada is to be completely done in the Vichara Marge. During the contemplation, one has to exclusively recognize the nature of Chaitanya, consciousness, in the absence of habitual projection of the qualities of Jada. That habit being very strong, for so long one has lived, many lives one has lived, projecting the qualities of Jada on the Chaitanya. To overcome that is the entire sadhana. So therefore, this Adhyasa, Anyonya Adhyasa eva avivekaha mohaha vikari vinashi buddhyadi upadin atma idi manyate aviveki. Vikari vinashi buddhyadi upadin atma idi manyate aviveki. Atma yat avinashi abhikari vikari vinashivat pashyati aviveki. So what is not subject to destruction and change is seen to be subject to destruction and change. What is subject to destruction and change, one thinks that it is not. This is called Anyonya Adhyas. Now, one would say, if buddhi and other upadhis are subject to destruction, subject to change, anything that changes, yad vikari tad nashyati. Anything that changes finally will end. Yatyapi sarve janaha amaranatvam icchanti vayani. Sarve janaha amaranatvam icchanti eva. Yadyapi jananti kya? What do they know? Buddhyadi upadin maranatvam gachanti eva. All the upadis are subject to death only. Yadyapi amaranatvam icchanti. That very fact that you amaranatvam icchanti, the very fact that we seek the amaranatvam shows that we have done the adhyasa on the amarana abhatmani maranatvam. In that immortal self we have. Otherwise that ichcha would not be there, no? So, see, if when we say, I want to be deathless, do not want to die, that means what? You know what is meaning not dying. You cannot desire something which you don't know. Can you? You cannot desire something which you don't know. Why you want amaranatvam? Amaratvam, why do you want? So, buddhyeva aham iti chet, amaranatvam kim ichchati. Buddhyeva aham, sharirameva aham iti chet, amaranatvam katham ichchati. If one thinks that I am only subject to only buddhi, only body, and etc., then how do you at all seek immortality? The very fact that you are seeking immortality is to show that what is immortal I have forgotten, and what is mortal I am holding on. Holding on to what is mortal, I am thinking of myself to be immortal. I want to be immortal, but I cannot give up that which is I have mistaken. That is the jiva. In other words, even though the part space is there, one's attention is always in the jala akasha. And because of that, jala akashena gata akasha tirohitaha bhavati. Yata tata jivaha kutastam tirohati. So, another thing is, why is that? Do you think that why is that we always seek immortality? So it's beautifully point of logic is sarve nadyaha sagaram eva pradigachanti. Is it not? Sarve nadyaha. All the nadis are going towards Sagar. Kyun? So, a dharma of a thing, a nature swabhava of a thing, everything that has a particular specific swabhava, it will go towards it constantly. It will not deviate from it. If you heat up the water and keep it aside, what will happen to it? It will not retain that heat. After some time, it will cool down. Why? इसको स्वभाव है. क्यों? इसका धर्म ऐसा ही है. It will cool down below the temperature of the room. That is its swabha. Meaning, it's dharma. So, seeking immortality is the dharma of the jiva. Why? Because it is kutastha paramatma aham amarana swabhava. So, seeking the immortality of me is not a thing which I am asking something other than myself. It is me. And therefore, seeking immortality is the nature of all beings, and it is not a thing to be told, educated. Even if a person who's completely not even educated, let us say, not Vedanta, forget about it, other things also. You want to die. No. Even the animals, do they want to die? Why? Swabhavatvat. It is nature of it. So, swasthanameva gacchanti sarvani bhutani. Their own state only they will reach. I put them notes while I was thinking and referring to points here. So, the anyonya adhyasa, so taking others' dharma, the quality of something else, since it is not yours, when you are seeking towards your own, you naturally give up that. Like this iron, when it is put into the fire and taken out, even though it's at a borrowed quality of heat and light from that fire, left to itself, what does it do? It will reject it. It will go back to its nature. Similarly, the fire which has taken the form of the iron because of its proximity with it, the fire is now having a form, a round form. How long it will retain that? It will leave it. The fire will extinguish. Fire will go to fire and iron will go to iron. Because they are swabhav. The fire will remain as fire only. It will not take any form. Even though you are given a form, it will go back to it. Swabhavastu pravartate. That's what Bhagavan Krishna says. Swabhavastu pravartate. Now what can we do? In a different context altogether. So this anyonya adhyasa eva aviveka, aviveka eva ajnanam. Ajnanam here, that's not absence of jnanam. Ajnanam is adhyasa. Swabhavena adhyasati. Naturally it makes that mistake. So therefore, what is this anyonya adhyasa? That is said in the next verse. So anyonya adhyasa iti, all right. Anyonya adhyasa iti adhyasascha idasya karana rupa avidya vaktavya ashankya iti ashankya jiva kutastyoha samsara dashayam Now you see, this ajnana is considered as, is always noted in Vedanta as Mula Avidya. Mula Avidya. Why it is so? Because anything that comes as an effect, why that effect is what it is, you will go to its Mula. It goes to your origin. So, Anyonya Adhyasa Karana is Avidya. Avidya is Avidyayaha Karanam Kim. It's called Mula Avidya. Mula Avidya means root cause. Is root, and then Mula Avidya is what? What is the cause of the Mula Avidya? That often comes, this question comes from Mula Avidya. What is the root cause of, what is the origin of the ignorance? Anadi. Now, when you say Anadi, that is going to be taken up next. In the next verse, we'll see. Ayam jivo na kutastam vivinakti kadachanaya anadiravivekoyam mula vidyeti gamyatam. Ayam jivo na kutastam vivinakti kadachana anadiravivekoyam mula vidyeti gamyatam. Now, Anvaya for that is Jivaha, Ayam Jivaha, this Jiva, Pratibimbida Chaitanyam. Pratibimbida Chaitanyam, reflected consciousness, Kadachana, at no time, Kutastam Vivinakti, na Vivinakti. Na Kadachana Kutastam Vivinakti. Vivekam Karoti. Vivinakti does not differentiate. Jivaha, I am Jivaha, this Jiva. Why is called this Jiva? Was what we are. Don't say that Jiva. This Jiva. This which you are. Aham Kutastaha iti na Vivanakti. It does not see the difference between Kutastha and the presently what one has understood as oneself. Jiva. Ayam Jivaha na Kutastam Kadachana Vivinakti. And this aviveka is anadi. Anadi ravivekoyam. And it is known as gamyate. It is known as mula avidya iti gamyate. Gamyate janati. Knows. It is known. Or smritaha. Huh? Huh? Somebody said something. Vedanta vicharena eva. Kadachana means until the point one starts that Vedanta vichar. Na kadachana vivinakti is said. When actually the viveka starts, Vedanta vichar samayehi, it starts. Until then, no. So, anadi is aviveka when it is said. Yasya yasya swarupaha tasya tasyaiva iti na janati. This is called aviveka. Yasya yat swarupam tasya tat iti na janati. Whatever is the nature of a thing, one does not clearly see that is the nature of that thing. That is called aviveka. If I mistake one thing to be another, not knowing what its nature is, that is aviveka. What is the nature of a thing? I do not understand it. That very misunderstanding of the nature of a thing makes him not able to recognize it correctly. That is the reason why the Chaitanya is what is the nature? Sat Chid Ananda Swarupa. First of all, understand that now. Because when you read Atmabodha also, what does it say? First one, Vivekaha Kaha Atma Satyam Tad Vediriktam Sarvam Anityam. First thing you have to understand is what is the nature of Atman. In Vivek Chodamani also, Ko Nama Bandha Kadamesha Agata Ityadi, where questions were raised. First question was, what is bondage? How did it come? How does it stay? How does it go? What is Atma? What is Anatma? How do I differentiate the both? He starts with what is Atma first. Not what is bondage. Because you cannot understand bondage. Why? Because aviveka. Why aviveka? Ajnana. What is ajnana? Not knowing what is the nature of Atman. That yasya swarupam na janati, Atmanaha swarupam na janati, tasmat karanat, because of that very reason alone, also does not know what is the jivasya swarupam. So therefore, atmanaha swarupam kim, anatmanaha swarupam kim, how the anyonya adhyasa had taken place, and this anyonya adhyasa causes the bondage. So the bondage has to be explained after the preliminary stuff is done. Or you take Gita also. He says that I don't want to fight. Now Bhagavan says, I am telling you fight. No. First of all, understand who you are. Is it not that he started with that? He forgot about war itself. Chalo, war ko chodo abhi. First of all, you understand who you are. What are you thinking? It begins from there. And what you have mistaken yourself to be. Because of your mistake, you think that you are going to kill. You are going to kill. Everybody is getting killed. No, you know that nobody is getting killed. Bringing all that point, and now he says, now you think. What is that you need to do? So here, because there is this absence of the clarity in thinking, yasya swarupam tasya iti na janati. Tadeva aviveka. Now, Brahman is also considered as anadi, as much as avidya, moola avidya is also anadi. Interesting. Do anadi hai. Adirahita Atma. Brahma Adirahita. Why Brahman is anadi? Satswarupatvat. That is the hetu. See, any logic when you are bringing, you have to bring the hetu. Hetu means, that is a methodology. In Tarka Shastra, hetu is to be pointed out. Like smoke, I see. Hetu? Fire. So in Anumana Pramana, you have to establish the hetu. Without that, your argument is not right. Anadi Brahma Katham Satswarupatvat. Satswarupatvat means that which is of the nature of existence. Now be careful about this point. Satswarupatvat Brahma Anadi. Because simple understanding is Sat has no beginning or an end. Correct? You cannot say existence did not exist or existence will not exist. Hoga? Existence has no beginning because existence cannot be otherwise. So you cannot say existence was not there at some point of time. Or it will not be some other. So Anati Ananta Rupaha Brahma. Okay. Interesting thing is Avidya. असत रूपत्वात् जो है ही नहीं उसका आदि कैसे बना बताओगे बात? हाँ? असत का आदि क्या है? Non-existence, where is the begin? Where does it begin? But non-existence can be replaced by existence. Therefore, ant hai, anadi hai. Both are anadi are the two reasons. One, because it cannot be otherwise, and it will be always the same. One cannot be pointed out when it begins because it is asat. And obviously, asat can be replaced by sat. So, mithya rupatvat avidya anadi moola avidya anadi iti uchyate. So one cannot be, see, because what happens is this anaditva of ignorance is not accepted by all schools of thoughts. Because that is a key point of Vedanta. The key point of Vedanta is anadi ajnan. If ajnan ko adi bhi hai, then you will say, so that means I was self-realized before. उसके बाद कुछ हुआ, therefore I became Moda. Ji. So if people ask, no, if you are all a Brahman, we should be Brahman only. Yeah, but why am I Jiva? When did it start? Uska anadi hai. Why? Because what you are pointing out of as the Jivatva is because of mistake, and that mistake is not having any cause. Because it is anadi. Because it is not true. If it is true, I can find out where it started. It's an illusion. When did rope become snake? When exactly it became snake? Can you find out? No, hai hi nahi. Jo hai hi nahi, oh, it's not there. How will you find out the starting point? Hmm. So when does the rope become non-rope? It cannot be. It's always the rope only. From the beginning till end, it is always not end. From the eternally, it is only rope. It can never. It was so rope, snake sometime, and then it became rope. It's not like that. So anything that is subject to change will end. This satswarupatvat anadi, asatrupatvat anadi. Satswarupatvat anadi anantah api, parantu avidya anadi, no doubt, but subject to end. So avidyayaha kim adaram? How does it continue to be there? How is that avidya continues to be there? Or avidya is swarupam? What is the nature of avidya? Because the nature alone sustains the thing. So the next verse he moves to show how that happens. Avidyayaha kim adaram? Yeah.
Is this Mula Vidya equivalent to Maya as we understand?
Yeah. Mula Vidyaya Lakshanam Kadayati, first in the next verse, verse number 26. विक्षेपावृत्तिरूपाभ्याम् द्विधा विद्या व्यवस्थिता नभादि नास्ति कूटस्थः इत्यापादनमावृतिः विक्षेपावृत्तिरूपाभ्याम् द्विधा विद्या व्यवस्थिता नभादि नास्ति कूटस्थः इत्यापादनमावृतिः आपादनमावृतिः आपादनम्. Now, Dvida avidya of two kinds. We have come across this many times. Oh, is it? Vedanta obviously will explain this two natures or two types of or two qualities of lakshanas of avidya. Dvida avidya, vyavastita, established, understood, known. What are those? Vikshepa avritti rupapyam. Avritti. Avartate, avritti. Avaranam karoti. Avaranam. For some people, abharanameva avaranam. Without that, they won't look good. Unable to stand. So therefore, they have to do that. So avarana and vikshepa. So vikshepa avritti rupabhyam dvida avidya vyavastita. Now you see here, what are the two avaranas? Here is given here as Nabhati na asti kutastha iti apadanam avritihi. Avritihi is nabhati na janati. Nacha asti, sorry. Nabhati nacha asti iti. Two kinds. Even the avarati takes place in two ways. Covering, obscuring. Earlier what he said that tirohitam bhavati. What tirohitam? Part space is avrutam bhavati jala akashena. Gata akashah jala akashena tirohitam tirobhudatvat na janati asti akashah gata akashah iti. Na asti gata akashah iti. Right? That part space is obscured by the water space, therefore part space doesn't exist. Na asti. Yata tata जीवः कूटस्थः न अस्ति इति वदति. है Jala Akasha does not acknowledge the presence of Gata Akash. So Buddhi has taken the qualities of the consciousness, Pratibimbida, Chitpratibimba, Chidabhasa, Buddhi, Chetanasya Swarupam, Grihitavan api. Even though it has taken the qualities of the Chaitanya and it considers as its own. ये मेरा है, मेरा स्वभाव है. So it takes that consciousness which is borrowed as its own. यथा जल आकाशः घट आकाशं गृहीत्वा स्वयमेव आकाशः इति मन्यते. So तस्मात् कारणात् घट आकाशः न अस्ति. Similarly, कूटस्थः न अस्ति. And second thing is na bhati. It is not known. It is not known. It is not there. It is not known. Na bhati na asti kutastha. क्यों न बाती? गुणरहितत्वात्. उसको गुण नहीं है ना. बुद्धि का गुण है, बट आत्मा का गुण है नहीं. गुण नहीं, स्वभाव है, गुण नहीं है. Characteristics are not there. What is the characteristic of space? You can say sound, obviously. But other than that, nama, rupa, avayavas, angas, not there. So is there space? Is there space here? Yes. Where? No, but everywhere when you say, no, where do you point out? It gets spaced out. In the same way, so na bhati here to be understood as na gunena janati. With no qualities it knows. Characteristics are not there. Therefore, it is not known. Nasti nabhati. Nabhati nasti kutastha. Iti apadanam. This way taking up, this way understanding is called avritihi. So, satswarupa avarana is called na asti. चित्स्वरूप आवरण is called नभाति. सद भी तिरोहित हो गया, चित्त भी तिरोहित हो गया. सद का भी आवरण हो गया, चित्त का भी आवरण हो गया. Awareness is also obscured, existence is also obscured. Therefore, na bhati, na asti, kutastha iti apadanam avritihi. So, the way Vidyaranya explains is very systematic. Step by step you will go. You're not in a hurry. Nobody should misunderstand or you will not confusion. So the examples are very carefully brought in, no? Jala Akash, Kata Akash. So now you understand why the Akasha brought. You forget about Mayagasha, forget about that. We'll see. Because the problem is in the Jiva, not Ishvara. Let's not worry about Ishvara now. Or Brahman. Brahman, let it be wherever it is. Now let us look at the problem remains in Geo, misunderstanding itself. So here, Satswarupa Avaranam Asti, Tasmat Na Asti iti Katati, Vadati, and Katati, not many Padam, Katayati, 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 it is not Katati, Katayati. Yeah. Chitswarupa Avaranatvat Na Bhati iti Katayati. All right. Next proceeding, next step. Now, avidyayaha kim lakshanam? Moola avidyayaha, avidyayaha kim adhar? Lakshanam we have seen in the previous verse. Lakshan kya hai? Dvivida avidya. Vikshepa avarana rupa. We say. Vikshepa avriti rupa bhyam. That is a lakshana of avidya. Now, tasya adharam kim? How does it sustain itself? Now, it's interesting. In Vedanta, we are focusing on pramana. If you say something is, you have to show what is the pramana, what is the means to know that. Now, avidya pratyaksha pramanena jnatum shakyate va na va. Can it be perceived? No. Anumana with inference? Also not possible. Because you cannot assume the effect, assume the karana out of karya in the case of avidya. Now, why I am saying this is, it's not perceivable directly. Obviously, that is not possible for us to, because as it is said, sannapya sannapya bhayatmikano, binnapya binnapya bhayatmikano, sangapya nangapya bhayatmikano, mahadbuddha. So, pratyaksha praman nahi hai usko. Anumana pramana, if you take it up, you see the smoke and you conclude that that is a fire because you have seen both of them together at some point of time. Yesterday, somebody asked this question, I think. Who it is asked? Yeah, Shashi, I think. Shashi Reddy. Even we were talking about Dakshinamurti Stotram. In that, she asked this question. See, if we say the world is mithya, doesn't exist, or illusory existence, then in the dream which we see as the world is caused by the world that we have seen. Correct? The dream is nothing but the recollection of certain incomplete experiences or whatever it is, a mixture of what is yad drishtam, yad shrutam, yad jnatam, jagrata avasthayam, tadeva swapna avasthayam, swapnavat drishyate. All right. So in that swapna or in the state of dream, what I hear, whatever I experience are nothing but what has been already seen by me, heard by me, etc. So if that is the case, there must be a reality of waking state because of which the dream is experienced. So there must be some reality of that waking state. If I have not seen, will I see it in the dream? Which I have never experienced, will I experience it there? It cannot be totally unknown thing, cannot be experienced there. So if this itself is false, how can that happen?
Swamiji, that depends on what you're defining real to be. Right? The definition of real is something that lasts forever. And both are not lasting forever because you're going back and forth. So when she asked the question and she said, this is real, what does real mean to What is the Vedantic definition of?
So, okay, if we take it as temporariness as real, unreal, but in Dakshinamurti Stotram it is said, Vishwam Darpana Drishnamanagri Tulyam Nijantargadam Pashyan Atmani Maya Bahihi Eva. There, actually there is nothing there. Bahihi Eva Pashyati Maya. As though it is there. It is not even giving the temporary reality to also. And I have explained this part. If you give temporary reality to thing and that you call it as asat, then the temporary reality can give you temporary sukham also. And temporary sukham is there, then vairagya would not happen. I mean, the temporary is there, let me enjoy that. So, wo temporariness bhi, uska bhi even questioned. Then, my answer to this question is, Maya can create things which are not there and make it appear as there, though it is not there at all. It is not that it creates something temporarily. So since Maya could create the external world also as though it is not, as though it is there, though it is not there, that not there, seen to be there, is reflected again in Swapna as is there. What is not there actually appear to be there. In the Swapna, that is taken to be real by me, and therefore it looks like real into me in the Swapna also. That is the answer. Now, the point here is, avidyayaha kim adhara. What is the support of avidya? So, now coming back to, so if you take Anumana Pramana as the reason, now you see with the smoke and the fire, both are seen by me, and therefore I say, where there is fire, there must be smoke. That is the connection I am relating. So, Hetu. Hetu is what? Agni. Dhumasya Hetuhu Agnihi. So therefore that I know. So both are real in that context. So avidya can be experienced as avidya is there. Therefore this is the effect. Iska wo relationship I cannot build because I have not seen one first one. See, where fire is a pratyaksha and smoke is also pratyaksha, and I am seeing the smoke, and therefore I understand what is the cause. Ye avidya pratyaksha nahi hai pehle. Effect may be pratyaksha, but you cannot conclude that this is because of that. उसका प्रमाण क्या है? अविद्या का प्रमाण क्या है? अविद्या है, पता है? अविद्या means being, that is a cause of the problem, you say. Avarana vikshepa is, you are saying as dvivida avidya. So, uska praman. And we'll see in the next class. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.